All right, so I just got one of my Berettas back from Cerakote. This is the Elite Concrete color. It's their E series. This Beretta started its life off as a 96G-SD that I did extensive work on. I undercut the trigger guard there. I dehorned that area. I smoothed out the trigger guard, rounded off the trigger guard, and also dehorned the beaver tail. So now it's got this nice two-tone look. I threw an Elite LTT slide on this bad boy and kind of pimped it out with the inox colors. So this is my first day. I've just had this. All right, so if I were ever to make a coiled Cobra variant of the Beretta M9A1, these are the things that I've done to my pistol that I would actually put into production for that coiled Cobra variant. First major thing I did was I took off the sharp edges on the magazine release area on both sides, and I undercut the trigger guard there. I also smoothed off or rounded off the trigger guard so there's no sharp edges, and I rounded off the profile from the square profile to the 92X/92A1 trigger guard profile, and I also dehorned the beaver tail a little bit so it's a little bit smoother in the webbing of my hands. And so let's get this bad boy assembled and see how this thing looks. All right, so this is what the pistol looks like up close and completed. This does look like an Elite LTT, but it is in fact a pistol sourced from multiple different pistols. At its core is the 96G-SD frame, which is similar to an M9A1, which is basically what the Elite LTT uses, so that's why it looks like that. It does have a complete Elite LTT upper on it on the 96G-SD frame that I've re-Cerakoted in Elite Concrete after I've done extensive frame modifications. So the frame modifications that I've done are I've undercut the trigger guard here. No Beretta has an undercut like the undercut that I've done. And along with that, I've also rounded off the magazine release area, similar to what Langdon does on his Elite LTT. I've also rounded off the square trigger guard that the M9A1s have, similar to what Wilson Combat does on their Brigadier Tacticals and tactical pistols. And then I've also done something unique. I've also dehorned the beaver tail. I like to get high and tight on my grips. So when I do that, sometimes it digs into the webbing of my hand, and since I have dehorned that, it no longer will dig into my hands. So after I've done all the extensive framework, I had to re-Cerakote this, so I did like the two-tone look of the concrete with the black top, with the gray grips and the inox parts. So it looks very, very slick and cool. In addition to the framework and Cerakote, I've also handpicked all of these parts to make the pistol exactly how I want it. I do like the Wilson Combat hammer better than the Elite hammers, and I also like the Wilson Combat magazine release better than the Elite magazine release, as it sticks out just a little bit further. I've also put a Wilson Combat mag guide on it. It is not a magazine well, so it actually is production legal. I've also changed some of the parts to be inox. I like the inox triggers better. They're a little bit smoother, I think, than the stainless steel ones. I put some inox parts as accents, the grip screws and the GD cocker. I've also put on a Wilson Combat .305 rear sight with the square notch. I was finding that the Williams sights that comes on it, the .290 was shooting a little bit low, so I put on the .305 to raise it up a little bit. I like that better. And I've also done my own trigger job. I did not get a Langdon trigger job in the bag. I've done my own polishing and internal work on this, and this is a very, very smooth pistol. I've also replaced all of the springs with the Wilson Combat spring kit, the competition spring kit. I think this has a 12-pound spring in it. And the other major thing is it does have the Langdon optimized trigger bar on that, giving it a nice short reset on the single action right there. I mean, look at that. So it's a very, very fine-tuned pistol. If Coiled Cobra was to have his own variant or my own variant, this is exactly what I would build for an M9A1 variant. I am building a 92A1 custom gun, but if I was to build one off of an M9A1 platform, this is exactly how I would build it for a Coiled Cobra edition of a Beretta pistol.